All right, come one, come all. It's another New York Football Giants training camp recap practice. It's the 8th one of the year, I believe. We got a couple more to go. The Giants will be on the field tomorrow, Saturday, off day Sunday. They'll be back on the field Monday, and then we'll have some joint practices with the Jets the following week. Come one, come all, watch your ads. Hope you're doing well. Happy Friday, because today is August 1st, 2025. It's another training camp recap. It's Talking Giants, brought to you by SeatGeek, and the Giants were in full pads today. They practiced, I think, for over 2 hours today. There was a lot of team drill stuff at the end. They were going 2-minute drill pretty quick. Quick game at the end. I say quick game. 2-minute drill. 2-minute situation towards the end of practice. And then there was a special teams period, and a lot of people think, okay, well, they're approaching 2 hours. It's going to be over. And then, no, they crossed the 2-hour mark. And after a special teams period at the end, they do some more team stuff, which gave Malik Nabers his second touchdown reception of the day. Jackson Dart had some nice plays. Russell Wilson and Malik Nabers continues to look really solid and really good. Abdul Carter continues to, at this point, he's making other people look silly. Like, all right, well, I made the tackles look bad. I've made James Hudson look bad. I've made Josh Azudu look bad. I've even gotten some sacks and some moments over Marcus Bowe. All right, well, now it's time for me to move to the interior because I'll tell you what, man. We've talked about this, and a lot of today's recap is going to be. I might as well just play it for you right now. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to talk through it. I'm not going to do like a film breakdown. I'm going to talk through it, and you're going to see every single 1v1. So, Jeff, if you want to add it. Okay, so this is the first play you're going to see Abdul Carter go up against Jermaine Illuminor, and every other rep that I think he had in 1v1s, he was lining up on the interior, and you're going to see as this plays, if you haven't seen it, you're going to see he is just making people look silly. John Runyon made him look silly. Even Chauncey Golston had a nice rep, and I think you may even see it right now. Chauncey Golston, nice job, nice swim move over John Runyon in 1v1s, but he made Runyon look silly. I think he made JMS even look silly at one point. So Abdul Carter is just having fun. I believe Weiss, who was here yesterday, NYG Daily, he recorded and he found that Abdul Carter was running a stunt during team drills, and I think he would have had a sack there himself. So, again, we're at a point where, like, Abdul Carter's so fun, and raising our expectations on what we're going to see out of Abdul Carter. Maybe you don't want to do that too much just based off of training camp, but, man, he just looks like he's the best player on the field. And I'm going to rewind this here because I'm finding it here. So here's Abdul Carter versus JMS, and you see him before. Look at him before the snap. He's kind of like he's switching his base. He's switching his base. Look at his feet. That ball is snapped, and then the quickness off the ball, man, and how quick he flashes his hands. And that was still even pretty good by JMS to ride him around the outside. But everything that he does is quick and fast. And day after day goes by, and I don't even know what the ceiling could be, but I guess I should say the floor. Like my expectation of my brain of the floor for Abdul Carter is being raised every single day. And it's so damn exciting, man. Here's Evan Neal. Here's an Evan Neal play. It was really funny that there was a contingency of people that were watching Evan Neal on that far field, and they were just cheering. Yeah, they were cheering his ass on every single time that he did something, and every single time that he did good. It's kind of cool to see the fan base is rallying around Evan Neal. At least for one more final year. They didn't pick up his 5th-year option. So for one more final year, the fan base is trying to rally around Evan Neal and forget the whole boost stuff. I don't know if they're cheering sarcastically or if they're genuinely trying to root him on. But it was cool to see today in camp, just a group of kids being like, hell yeah, Evan Neal, good rep. So you're seeing all the 1v1s. Here's Jeremiah Ledbetter, number 96. He had one good rep. That wasn't such a good rep there. But today's practice, headlined by Nabers, 2 touchdowns. Jackson Dart had some really, really nice throws that we're going to watch as well. Cam Scattaboo exits early in practice. He was really frustrated, like slamming his helmet on the ground as he's exiting. So that wasn't all that great, and he missed all of spring, and he was kind of partially participating over the last couple days. So hopefully it's nothing too serious. Now he walks off the field, but he was clearly just very, very frustrated over whatever he's dealing with. We'll hopefully get answers on that soon. Brian Daboll will probably not give us those answers. If you watch, oh, look at that spin move. Oh my God. Look at this if you're watching on stream. If you watch the first 45 seconds of Daboll's presser today, it's one of the more funnier stuff, the funniest shit that you'll see, where he's just, it's silence. It's just, nobody wants to ask him a question because everybody knows that Daboll's not going to give you an answer. I'm like, what are we doing, man? Like, what are we doing? Answer a question. And nobody even wanted to ask him anything. And that was the first 45 seconds of the presser today. So yeah, watching through more 1v1s. See, there's the crowd. There's the crowd hyping up Evan Neal and stuff like that. So I'm going to rely a lot on the chat today too for some Q&A stuff, because I want to hear what you have to say, because it's been a lot of the same old stuff. So as we're winding down the 1v1s, I'm going to fast forward here. Here's Carter on Josh Azudu. And then you're going to see, as the end, Daboll's going to go up to Carter. I found this to be significant because I kept the camera on Daboll going up to Carter after his rep and just be like, dude, you're fucking killing it, man. You're just kicking ass. That's what you do, and giving a pat on the back. And then I guess the evaluation of O-line, D-line 1v1 after last week of me, I kind of captured everything. The consensus is that the offensive lineman won. I guess the consensus was here is that the offensive lineman lost, because you see Carmen Bersillo on the left side, and then you see Jermaine Illuminor on the right. There's the linemen, they're all getting down and they're all doing push-ups. So I guess the evaluation is that the defense won the day. I mean, I would say Abdul Carter won. I don't know if anybody else necessarily stood out. Chauncey Golson had the one good rep against John Runyon. I thought the tackles, James Hudson and Jermaine Illuminor, really did a nice job against even this first play. Even this first play where Illuminor kind of just rides Abdul Carter to the outside. I still think the offensive line held up relatively well. Obviously, Sands without Dexter Lawrence doing these 1v1s, and the tackles held up well against Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns as well. James Hudson is eventually a defensive player. It's getting to a point, and Jeff, if you want to stop sharing the screen, it's getting to a point where a defensive player needs to fight James Hudson, because every single play he is chirping at somebody. And like I had a joke of like James Hudson and Kayvon Thibodeau go behind the practice facility and just kick the shit out of each other, and whoever survives that fight gets to make the roster. Literally battle to the death. So that's where we're at there. I want to show this too. So here, we'll go back to the sharing the screen. I want to show just some of the highlight plays from practice today. This is the Russell Wilson and Malik Nabers touchdown, and I am screaming as this ball's being completed. Nice throw, because this is the shit that gets you excited. And as you see, Nabers is dancing there too. This is the shit that gets you excited. So Russell Wilson drops back, and just Nabers is 1v1 against the Debo. Russ does a nice job of looking off the safety with his eyes. His eyes are going back to the safety at the snap. Looks him off, and then right over Malik Nabers' shoulder. And I can't tell you how often, I said this earlier on in camp, but I can't tell you how often and how encouraging it is to see when the Giants are near it around the end zone. And this is also third down, by the way, too. This is third down from the 20-yard line. We're not just looking to get a first down. We're not just looking to survive. We're inside the red zone. We're at the 20-yard line, and we're throwing the ball to the damn end zone. I don't know if this is going to fully carry over to the regular season, but it's just really, really encouraging to see that kind of stuff. And Jeff, I forgot to do something, so stop sharing the screen for 1 second, because I got to talk to you about Cushy Dreams before we keep going, and I'll show you Malik Nabers' second touchdown pass. Dane Belton also had an interception today, too. Defense had 4 interceptions today. But I got to talk to you about Cushy Dreams, because the best in legal cannabis just got better. You know our friends at Cushy Dreams for their great THC products that ship directly to you. Everybody loves their gummies. They got the job done. Now they've got a new drop. How about high-powered THCA flower? Smoke it, and it's just like the real damn thing. But this stuff is legal just for you and for me and for everybody, because it's available in smokable Sativia strain and Indica Sativia hybrid strain. And that's how you know, when I can't pronounce it, that's how you know it's pretty damn good, because each one comes in 3 different sizes so you can smoke as much as you want. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. I feel like it's from a movie. And since you're a fan of the show, you got a special deal. We've got a special deal for you. Take 20% off all D9 gummies, smokable THCA flower in the entire store when you use code JOHNBOY at checkout. 20% off. Use code JOHNBOY at checkout. Thank you to Cushy Dreams. Side story too. I had my cigar, smoking a cigar before the practice, and it was a really good cigar. And it was like halfway done. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to leave it on my left front tire so I can have it after practice too. It's a good damn cigar. I get back to my car, totally gone. Not even on the ground, not even on the pavement, not even anywhere. It's just totally freaking gone. Somebody took my half-smoking cigar. So bad guy move. Malik Nabers, touchdown. Really, really fun, really, really good. Jeff, if you want to share the screen again. Over the shoulder. We're throwing the ball to the end zone. It's 3rd down at the 20-yard line. Awesome stuff. 1,500 yards for Malik Nabers this year. Like, it's getting to the point where I don't even think it's that much of a hot take anymore. This next play, as he goes on dancing. A lot of these receivers like that. Russell Wilson is their quarterback. I think this next one, it's another 3rd down. Is this the Wan'Dale play? Yes. So this play, I love this too. 3rd down again, and we're at the 15-yard line this time. Russell Wilson looks off safeties, and then boom, his eyes are going right towards Wan'Dale Robinson. I mean, there are 3 guys near him. I mean, there's Paulson Adebo trailing. That's not Cordell Flott. That is Drew Phillips, because it's Wan'Dale Robinson. And then there's Javon Holland too. And this ball is technically incomplete. Wan'Dale, I think, only got 1 foot down. But 2 things here. Number 1, like we said, Russell Wilson is continuing to throw the ball down the field, which is awesome. Number 2, Wan'Dale Robinson is continually being targeted down the field this training camp. And that's awesome to see, where for Malik Nabers and Wan'Dale Robinson, this year is about quality instead of quantity. Last year in 2024, Wan'Dale Robinson averaging 7 yards per reception and 90 catches. No bueno, not good. Even Malik Nabers, like, there's no reason why Malik Nabers shouldn't be averaging 13, 14 yards per reception and being providing the juice that he provided at LSU. Had only 2 plays of 40-plus yards last year, and the first one didn't even come until December 29th. So the fact that both of these guys are being targeted down the field, but even Wan'Dale, like, unexpectedly being targeted deeper down the field, these slot fades, he did it a lot at the University of Kentucky, did it here today, has done it throughout practice, gets 1 foot down, not a touchdown, but still just an encouraging sight to see that Russell Wilson, when they're inside the red zone, has continually looked to Wan'Dale Robinson's way, which is nice. We're going to get a Jackson Dart play next. You see all they're talking about, like, oh, did he get 1 foot down? The defense is saying no. Offense is saying yeah. And the official's like, no, he only got 1 foot down. This is a nice Jackson Dart throw. I thought he had 2 really good ones on the day. This one is pretty simple. To Daniel Bellinger over the middle of the field. Nice to see middle of the field utilized and also a tight end utilized as well. Was this on this was on a 2nd down. So this was when they were doing 2-minute drills and they were in a hurry-up situation. The offense was down by 4, so Jackson Dart needed to orchestrate a game-winning drive. I don't think they wound up doing it, but one of the next plays, I think dare I say this is Jackson Dart's best throw so far of training camp. Whew. That's a whole shot, man. Let me describe it. So Jackson Dart drops back, initially looks one way, but pretty quickly brings his eyes back to the right side of the field where he's eventually going to throw this ball to Dalen Cambry. And man, he's going to layer this football. This is the phrase that I've been saying about Jackson Dart. This is a throw that has nice touch on it, but it's not a throw that's like rocketed in there. And I think Dan Schneider, I saw him in a reply talk about how Jackson Dart's ability to throw the ball over people and not just a ball that's on a rope and on a straight line. His ability in the 10 to 19 or even, not even going 30-plus yards down the field, but his ability to throw the ball over defenders. And this is Dalen Cambry right in stride, right by the sideline. Awesome, awesome shit. Awesome. I think this is Jackson Dart's best throw of camp so far to Dalen Cambry on that right sideline. Awesome stuff by Jackson Dart. And he just continues to look comfortable day by day, getting more reps under him and everything like that. Russell Wilson, this is the Dane Belton interception. Russell Wilson starts to look one way, goes back to the other side of the field. Dane Belton right there reads it really well, and this would have been a pick six. One of 4 interceptions for the team today. D. Williams had 2 interceptions, including a one-hander. And Tyler Nubin had another interception on what would have been it was a 4th down situation where Russell Wilson, he was down, and Giants offense, they were down by about 6 points. They needed to heave the ball into the end zone. Tyler Nubin got the interception. And then this is the second Malik Nabers touchdown grab of the day. He stumbles. Look at how he stumbles out of his break. He's stumbling out of his break here, and he's able to gather himself, get the touchdown, and he's dancing once again. So there you go. Clips from Giants practice today, done. I'm going to open it up to the chat because that was basically mostly it. Theo Johnson also got 4 catches today, which was nice. 2/3 of them were on screens. Another one was on like a button hook over the middle of the field. Russell Wilson and Jackson Dart continue to utilize the middle of the field well. They're not just throwing towards the sidelines, which is nice to see. Hyatt got some catches too. So let's talk about this. John asks, how did Darius Alexander do and with what team? So I will say they practice on the far field. You saw in those clips. They practice on the far field today. And that sucked to see what they were doing O-line and D-line wise, especially in team. And I was even thinking to myself, damn, I'm not going to have that many thoughts on team O-line, D-line stuff because they were so far. So I didn't get a good read on the quality of practice that Darius Alexander had. But, I mean, if you saw it in the 1v1s, he didn't necessarily fully stand out. He went up against Marcus Bowe once or twice. Didn't necessarily stand out there. I need to see more out of Darius Alexander. Just more energy. Just show. You don't even need to be a perfect NFL player from day one. But the rest of these guys and the rest of these rookies, they're bringing energy. They're bringing a spark, and he's not doing that. And that's one of the players that I thought that maybe he would do that. With Scadaboo practicing, I heard he's been out for a few days. Now, he was practicing to start. Yesterday, he was held out of team drills. He was back today, but there was a certain period of practice where he left, and he was very, very frustrated as he was leaving. So hope everything's all right with you. Am I panicking about the O-line? First of all, Penik doesn't panic. No, I'm not panicking. I'm not panicking about the O-line. I mean, if anything, I'm panicking more about the interior defensive line because they just provide little to nothing outside of Dexter Lawrence right now. I mean, the run defense is even getting gashed. Towards the first half of practice, it was much more of a run-heavy practice. Like a lot of the clips that I showed, it was from the second half of practice where they were throwing the ball a lot more and they were operating, no hurry-up situation, no huddle situations. But the guys that they brought in, Roy Robertson Harris, Jeremiah Ledbetter, they drafted Darius Alexander to be like an all-around player. But I'll stick with especially Roy Robertson Harris, who they gave somewhat significant a multi-year deal to. When Dex isn't on the field, like the run defense is just really not up to par. Where the first part of practice, Tyron Tracy has some nice, good runs. So that's the worry. It's not necessarily about the O-line. The tackles did a nice job today. James Hudson actually recovered decently well today. Jermaine Illuminor looks good. We know what John Runyon is. We know what Greg Van... I feel like we know what the guards are. We'll see if JMS can get better. But there's veterans in that interior defensive line room. Like Roy Robertson Harris, Nacho. We know what they are. They've been around, and they're supposed to be quality, decent run defenders. And right now, it doesn't look like they are up to that task to be quality, decent run defenders when Dexter Lawrence isn't on the field. And Dex is going to be off the field. He can't be on the field for even 80, 75% of the time is a stretch for a man that's 340 pounds. And you can't allow runs of 10, 20 yards when just because your best player who's 340 pounds isn't on the field for 90% of the snaps. So that's tough. This is something that I've been asked about. Have I seen any matchups between Carter and Theo Johnson? one's a tight end and one is an edge rusher. You're not really, especially in 1v1s, the tight ends aren't with the offensive line pass blocking. I've seen Chris Manhertz being asked to pass block some of these edge rushers, and Chris Manhertz does okay. Sometimes he'll lose, sometimes he'll win. You guys hear that? Oh, that was fun. I don't know if you guys heard that on stream, but we're in the warehouse and a guest is here, a former MLB player is here, and there's something just happened with the speakers. But no, Theo Johnson isn't really going to go up against Abdul Carter. I know they talked about that at Penn State, but I don't think that's something that actually fully happened. So let me know if there's anything else. Did I watch anything else? Did I miss anything else? Seems like the O-line is not that good again. D freaking Williams, yes. Shout out Ryan. Hope all is well, man. D Williams, 2 interceptions, 2 pass breakups today. One of them was a one-hander. He had a nice day. Evan Neal. Yeah, I mean, I that maybe if anybody else has any questions, let me know, because I'm going to read an ad first, and then if anybody has any questions, I'll talk about that, and then we'll wrap up, get out of here on a Friday, because this episode is sponsored by, this camp recap is sponsored by DraftKings. Baseball fans, summer is in full swing, and the season is heating up. From midseason rivalries to breakout performances, every game is packed with drama, and there's no better time to jump in with our partners at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, new customers bet just $5. You're going to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. New customers use our promo code JMFootball. Bet $5 on any wager. Get $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code JMFootball only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Thanks, DraftKings. Appreciate you. Yeah, not a ton. Like I said, not a ton from practice today. It's starting to get mundane. It's starting to get kind of the same thing in and out. Who's returning punts or kicks this year? Talked about that yesterday. I will go to my tweet and I will see if I can remember on the top of my head. I know Jordan Bly is one of them. I know Darnell Washington is another. Dalen Cambry, Gunnar Olszewski, and Amir Smith-Marset. I think I got everybody. Those were the guys that were returning punts last year. Now, you ask kicks, punts or kicks. I haven't seen them practice kickoff yet. And I may be crazy, but I haven't seen them even practice kickoff once. Everything has been punt, which is kind of unusual. So, yeah, Amir Smith-Marset, Darnell Washington, Jordan Bly, Gunnar Olszewski, Dalen Cambry. I memorized it on the top of my head. Good for me. So there's your punt returner update. No kick returner update. Eric Gray still on the PUP list. That's probably why we're not seeing him back there, even though I don't even know if I would want him back there because he drops kicks. Slayton not getting many targets, a bit surprising. Slayton, I feel like when it comes time to game time, that's where not Slayton will thrive, but Darius Slayton will be Darius Slayton. Let's look at it like this. I'm going to load up Darius Slayton's Pro Football Reference page really quick. Because while Darius Slayton is reliable, Darius Slayton is what Darius Slayton is. And that is, on a 17-game average, I want to look at his targets. 84 targets per season, or 85, because it's 84.8. So let's do 85 divided by 17. That's 5 targets a game. I think that's safe to say, so far this camp, Darius Slayton has gotten what would be like 5 targets per game. I think you're going to see Wandale, Nabers obviously lead the charge in targets. You're going to sprinkle in Jalen Hyatt, which we have gotten. If Jalen Hyatt ends the year with 7 receptions again, I'd be pretty surprised. Now, do I think he's going to end the year with 30, 40? No. But you're going to sprinkle Jalen Hyatt in there. You're going to have more Theo Johnson this year. You're going to throw the ball. Russell Wilson does like to throw the ball to running backs a good amount. So I think 5 targets per game, that's what Darius Slayton is going to get. 17-game average, 85 per season, 48 catches a year. That's what Darius Slayton is, 720 yards. So I'm not walking away from this camp being like Darius Slayton's not part of the offense because he's been Darius Slayton. That's what I'm walking away so far on. What's going on, guys? Joey, appreciate you. Nice to see you. What week does Jackson Dart start? I'm still in my head saying the bye week. You're going to go 13 weeks, be somewhere between 5 and 8. Or if you're 8 and 5, that's even awesome. Then I don't even know if you go to Jackson Dart, but My thinking is if you're 5-8 at the bye after 13 weeks, then there's a nice little runway to Jacksonville for the final 4 games of the season, where 2 of those games are going to be divisional opponents, Dallas and Washington. Both of those games are home. The Minnesota game, I think that game is home too. And then there's the Vegas game, which that's on the road, but you're going to be playing indoors. And while Vegas is a decent team, I don't view that as like a daunting defense. I also don't think Washington's defense is that daunting. And Dallas's defense, they have superstars, they have good players. Like even that defense, there could be opportunities like, with the weaker secondary. Now, Matt Eberflus is a very good defensive coordinator. So, but I like the opportunity through the final 4 games of the season to see what Jackson Dart has. I hope that's when, if we are going to see Jackson Dart, I hope that's when we see him, because if he's thrusted into a situation like it's like they're 2-8 or they're 1-5, Jackson Dart would not be entering a good situation. I view if they're 5-8 after 13 weeks heading into that bye, I view that as a good situation for Jackson Dart to come in. A team that's competing, a team that won some games. Maybe they probably won't be mathematically eliminated from the playoffs at 5-8, but maybe Brian Daboll says we're looking for a spark out of the quarterback room, and then that's when the change is made, and that's what I'm rooting for. 1,000%. Joey, 10-7 playoffs. Hell yeah, let's go. Is there a real possibility Gabe Davis gets signed? I feel like Hyatt would have to be cut if that happens. I mean, I don't think Hyatt would have to be cut. I think it's just a matter of you have the front 4, Hyatt, Slayton, Nabers, Wandale. And then you have number 5 as Amir Smith-Marset / a returner. But I think Amir Smith-Marset has earned that returner job. He's also the backup slot receiver. And then Gabe Davis could be your 6. I mean, they could also carry 7 if they really want. They could carry 7 receivers if they really want to, even though I think that's overkill. I think that's overkill when you already have 4 receivers on your roster that can catch the ball for you. And that's why I don't mind having 2 special teamers. Like if they choose the front 4, like I said, Amir Smith-Marset and then Gunnar Olszewski, if they're going to use 2 special teamers at wide receiver, I don't mind, since there's 4 wide receivers that can catch the ball for you. And then you have like Bo Collins, Dalen Cambry, Daquan Felton, Juice Well. Like you have some of these other guys as UDFAs that will make the practice squad. Nobody's going to claim them. Bo Collins, I feel comfortable him making the practice squad. And if the Giants need another receiver because one of these guys goes down, then you can call Bo Collins up and see what you got there. But Gabe Davis, I don't think, is he a possibility? Sure. Do I think at this point, fact that we're already, we're in August 1st today and he's not on a team, if there's an injury that happens, that changes things. If one of the big 4, front 4 goes out for the Giants, that changes things, and Gabe Davis's chances of becoming a Giant do go up. JJ McCarthy, yeah, this is true. JJ McCarthy versus Jackson Dart, tasty matchup. That'll be a huge narrative conversation. Even though, man, that Minnesota defense is fucking scary. The Giants defense should be scary too. Like it should be, but like what Minnesota did offensively and defensively is they beefed up their front 4s. They beefed up their interior. Their tackles were already pretty good. And Minnesota really beefed up their interior. And Dallas Turner's heading into year 2. So they got Jonathan Allen. I think they got Javon Hargrave as well, who, a couple of years away from his best seasons, but they really beefed up both interiors. And I have a feeling like stemming away from this year, I was saying this to Weiss yesterday before we recorded, I think regardless of whether the Giants finish 10-7, 7-10 or worse, or 5-11 or 5-12, whatever the record may be, no matter what, we're going to say as a fan base that the Giants need interior help on both sides of the ball. That's going to be the story this year in the offseason. It's going to be the Giants need O-line help and they need D-line help. That's going to be the story because they've kind of low-key neglected it over the last 2 off seasons. They were the only team in the NFL to not draft an O-lineman or a D-lineman in the 2024 NFL draft. And now this year, when's the last time they took an O-lineman or D-lineman with the first 2 picks? Not Abdul Carter's an edge rusher. Let's talk about interior. Interior D-line, it was Dexter Lawrence in the first 2 rounds. And then it was Evan Neal. So I think, without a doubt, this offseason, it's going to be how can we beef up the interior on both sides of the ball? Is Terry gone? Is that new? You think we have a winning chance against Commanders because Terry is gone? I mean, he requested a trade. He's not gone, is he? I mean, you'll get quite a reaction out of me if Terry McLaurin is somehow not on the Commanders right now. Jeff? Yeah, I think he requested a trade. If you're the Commanders, you gotta work something out. And I had some people in my replies saying, well, I feel a lot better maybe letting him walk or letting him go than paying him $35 million. Okay, well, that's the NFL, brother. Like, when guys are expiring on their contracts, you got to pay them. And it doesn't even matter if you're the top guy or not. You're going to get top money when you're a player that deserves to be extended, or even if you're near the top. Like, Terry McLaurin is good, man. I don't want to devalue Terry McLaurin just because he's on the Commanders and, he's had bad quarterbacks, and just because he's requesting a trade now, wants a contract. Terry McLaurin is a really good receiver. Is he Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase? No. But really damn good receiver. And I think he's earned the right to be paid by Washington, even if it's top of the market money. Is you just wait another couple of years and more guys are going to get extended, and then that deal will look better a couple years down the road. Then it's the cyclical nature of NFL contracts. So I think we can beat the Commanders anyway. I think we can. Doesn't mean we're going to, but I think we can. They have an offensive line that's going to be young, and Brandon Coleman is sliding over to right guard. Their secondary is iffy. Their secondary has some question marks. So we'll see. But I would certainly love if Terry McLaurin wants to stick it to the Commanders and sit out week 1. And if Micah Parsons wants to stick it to the Cowboys, then I would love if he can sit out for the first 2 weeks of the season too. So I'd love that. According to Madden ratings, McLaurin is a 94 and Leak is an 87. Leak being an 87, I feel like that's fine for Malik Nabers in year 2. Get up to a 90. McLaurin 94 is a little high. I would put it closer to 91, and then Leak at an 87 is fine. A guy only had 2 catches of 40+ yards last year. Not his fault, but 87 in year 2 is pretty damn good. All right, I think that's it. We're at around 33 minutes. Just hit 33 minutes on the nose. Appreciate everybody hanging out. Appreciate the chat carrying for the back end of the show. Romans, appreciate you commenting a lot. Appreciate everybody hanging out. And I'll be back tomorrow. What I think I'm going to do tomorrow, Jeff, you let me know what you think about this. I think tomorrow's going to be the practice where I watch Jackson Dart and only Jackson Dart. Because the last time I did that, it was a Sunday practice where I watched only the rookies. I think tomorrow, instead of talking about the same thing over and over again, okay, Russell Wilson throws the ball, Jackson Dart throws the ball. I haven't spent one practice watching Jackson Dart and only Jackson Dart. And including his mannerisms and what is he doing? How is he operating? How is he working? Who is he talking to? Who is talking to him? So that is what I think I'm going to do tomorrow for Saturday.
Locking in on Jackson Dart seems like a good idea.
I like that. Okay, I'm going to do that. Great. So I'll see you tomorrow. It'll be a Jackson Dart report and only a Jackson Dart report. And I'll see you then. Let's go Giants.